Ukrainian drones brutally destroy Russian soldier in trenches frontlines Bakhmut. Gruesome footage moment a Ukrainian drones drop grenades to position a Russian trench from point-blank range before soldiers moved in to finish the job. Ukrainian drones strike Russian soldiers south of the town of Ivanivsky that lies to the west of besieged city Bakhmut, which has been the focus of the war's bloodiest fighting since Russian President Vladimir Putin ordered the invasion of Ukraine last year. Brutal fighting for the city and the surrounding region has seen the return of trench warfare to Europe, in scenes reminiscent of the First and Second World Wars. In the drones footage captured from a distance and released by Ukraine's 5 separate assault brigade, a Ukrainian tank is seen rolling down a road through a barren field left scarred in battle stalking its targets. A long zigzag trench is seen from drones footage running parallel to the road, like a scar on the land, and Russian soldiers sheltering inside with no weapons to counter the heavy armor. Once in position, the tank Ukraine troops fires off several rounds at the trench. The first narrowly misses, but its follow-up shots hit their mark, destro around the trench and rattling Putin's troops inside. Tank is then seen reversing back down the road away from the trench. The drone's footage shows a second armored vehicle rolling up the road alongside the trench, this time an armored fighting vehicle with ground troops inside. The mounted machine gun on top of the vehicle is seen opening fire on the trench, pinning down 2 Russian soldiers who are seen attempting to flee. In a desperate attempt to escape the unrelenting assault, the Russian soldiers crawling on their hands and knees as bullets slam around them position. In the drone footage, 4 Ukrainian soldiers appear from the rear of the infantry fighting vehicle. One of the soldiers, armed with a rocket launcher, fires off a missile at the trench as the armored vehicle provides covering fire. The soldiers then fires off a second missile. Both cause huge blasts in the trench. With the machine gun still providing covering fire, the Ukrainian soldiers proceed to advance on the trench and steadily move up the tunnel, stalking any Russian survivors. Russian casualty numbers were unclear, but the group in eastern Ukraine's devastated fortress city, with soldiers saying they were ready to launch their long-anticipated counter-offensive once the weather improves to push Moscow back. The months-long battle for Bakhmut, one of the last urban centers in Ukraine's eastern Donetsk province yet to fall to Moscow, has proven one of the bloodiest of Russia's invasion, now in its 14th month. However, the battles for Bakhmut continue, said Andriy Yermak, a senior advisor to Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. They are underway in the streets. Enemy attempts to encircle the city are failing. Our command fully controlled the situation with the defensive fortress, he said, using the nickname Zelensky gave to the city. Western analysts have played down the strategic significance of Bakhmut, but Ukraine has framed its dogged defense of what is now a completely destroyed city as a way of wearing down Russian forces. Although both sides have suffered huge casualties there, Bakhmut is performing the key task of inflicting as many losses on Russia as possible, and most importantly, to prepare for a counterattack to take place in late April to May, Pavlo Morozhny, a Ukrainian military analyst. Fighting is also raging further south in Avdiivka, a town near the regional capital of Donetsk, he added. Soldiers manning the trenches near Bakhmut said they were ready for any counteroffensive. We are ready. We have to do it. The sooner, the better. The enemy must be chased away. At the moment we are waiting for the weather to change, the mud is an obstacle, Naza, a 21-year-old unit commander. Ukrainian military expert Vladislav Seleznyov said Ukraine would be able to defend positions in the more heavily built-up west of Bakhmut as long as their route to the west, the road of life, for getting supplies in and wounded out, remained open. President Zelensky said on Wednesday that Ukrainian troops could withdraw from Bakhmut if they risked getting cut off. He also was speaking on a trip to Warsaw, where he said Poland, a close ally of his country, would help form a coalition of Western powers to supply warplanes to Kyiv. The Polish government said it would send 10 more MiG fighter jets on top of 4 provided earlier, but there has been no agreement from the United States or Ukraine's other major military backers to send the F-16 fighters Kyiv has requested. Russia says its special military operation in Ukraine was necessary to protect its security against what it sees as a hostile and aggressive West. Kyiv and its Western allies say Moscow is waging an unprovoked war aimed at grabbing territory. France's Macron pressed President China's Xi Jinping on Thursday to pressure Putin to end the war in Ukraine. Xi Jinping has called Putin a dear friend. Their nations have declared a no-limits partnership, and Beijing has refrained from criticizing Russia's invasion.